the Texas attempt to redistribute, reallocate, redistrict a bunch of different states and the congressional districts so that Republicans would gain 5 seats. And a lot of you from all over the country are weighing in with a variety of different perspectives. And I'm going to read several of them. One of you listening in New Mexico writes in, and I want to make sure that I get this, but I'm looking, as I was talking to you, I was looking up what the 2024 New Mexico presidential election results looked like. And Kamala Harris won New Mexico by about 5 points. Trump got 46% of the vote. Kamala Harris got 51 or 52% of the vote. So 5 to 6 points. In other words, pretty close as states go. Virginia was very close. New Mexico was very close. New Jersey was very close. Minnesota very close if you are on the Republican side looking towards additional states that could have flipped, but for, 2.5 or 3% of voters changing their minds, the outcome of that race could have been completely flipped. And the reactions pouring in, and this is a good one. This is from Kevin. I live in New Mexico. I just told you it was a state 5.5 points that Trump lost. A couple of years ago, the Democrat leader of the state legislature publicly stated he would redraw the lines in New Mexico so no Republican would ever win again, and he did just that. Most of southern New Mexico is conservative. We've always been able to elect Republicans in the southern district. The redrawn lines put large portions of more liberal areas in the north, Albuquerque and Santa Fe, into the southern district. As a result, southern New Mexico has no representation. Don't let the Democrats act like this is something new and they've never done it before. They can't handle not being in power. New Mexico is a great example, I believe, again, and there are a lot of different states and a lot of different redistrictings to be on top of. But I believe just in the last few years, New Mexico said, hey, we are going to effectively eliminate the Republican Party, and Democrats have all of the congressional seats. I want to look up what the math is in Illinois because it's among the most egregious, as we were talking about earlier. But this is a good question, too, from Britt, who writes in, I don't know enough to fully understand the redistricting fight in Texas. I'm all for it if it helps keep Texas red. How does the influx of illegal immigrants being counted in the census play into the numbers? Thanks. This is a huge story that no one talks about. They aren't ostensibly allowed to vote, but illegal immigrants are counted for congressional districts for purposes of the overall population in a district. And I think roughly 700,000 and change is the average number of people in each congressional district. And illegal immigrants are counted there. And depending on which study you look at, Republicans are losing and Democrats are gaining 10 or more seats based on illegal immigrants being counted for purposes of a redistricting. That seems to me like it shouldn't be allowed, and it seems like something that should be addressed. And again, I didn't know this until a few years ago was even going on. I feel like huge percentages of people don't know it still exists. It's helping to preserve districts that otherwise would be flipped for actual citizens, and it's actually an incentive for why illegal immigration does benefit the Democrat Party when it comes to political power allocation.
Just looking at the strategy here, what they've got going on, legislators may have committed felonies. We talked about that. If they solicit funds to evade the fines that exist under House rules. So Texas Democrats face a $500 a day fine. Republican-controlled legislature approved this punishment in 2023 when Democrats left for 3 weeks to try to block another bill on election integrity. And Abbott has said in his statement, Clay, I will use my full extradition authority to demand the return to Texas of any potential out-of-state felons. Texas State House Democrat caucus said, come and take it. So they're creating a showdown. I get it. It's politics and everything else. But the reality here is Democrats are acting like children because they're not getting their way. And there's no, what is the good faith explanation they have for we're supposed to be representatives, we're supposed to show up when there's a session called, we're just not going to show up to do our job so that you can actually function as the state of Texas elected officials. So I think that this is pretty clear what's going on to anyone who's paying attention. But that's really what this goes to, Clay. They're hoping that a lot of people just want to hear Republicans are bad. They don't ever get beyond that. If you turn on MSNBC, I might have even had Morning Joe on a little bit this morning. You turn on MSNBC, it's just Republicans are bad. The argument doesn't matter. And so you have the same thing with gerrymandering, where they're evil. They're doing the thing that we do all the time, exactly the same or worse. It doesn't matter, right? They just want to hear what they want to hear. So I think whatever tools the Texas Republicans have at hand to get the quorum, they should absolutely use. And they should put on the political brass knuckles for this one. It's time.
Yeah, I just think it's super fascinating because the reason this map is able to be written and expanded as it is because Democrats have hemorrhaged Hispanic support. And as a result, Republicans can now draw majority Hispanic districts, which are going to elect Republicans, which, by the way, you talked earlier about Trump being right. They said that Trump would make Hispanics forever not willing to vote for Republicans. Instead, he almost won Hispanics in 2024, according to nationwide AP vote cast, and erased basically the historic advantage.
This is a huge reason why the pendulum has swung so clearly on the issue of deportations and immigration enforcement. It used to be, oh, you're racist, you want a secure border. Really? The 60% of Latinos who want a secure border because they're Latino Americans who are legally here, they're racist against Latinos? Is that what we're going for? Doesn't work. That doesn't fly the way that it used to. All right, if your cell phone service is with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you're overpaying for wireless. You're paying retail stores that you're never going to go into that you don't need. You're paying for high-end sponsorship deals, stadium rights, and naming, all that stuff. You don't need any of that. And you also maybe think you're getting superior 5G service, but you're not. Pure Talk uses the same 5G network on the same 5G towers as those other companies. Only difference, they don't charge you for any of the extras that you simply don't need. Instead, Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. That's less than half the price of the other companies during a time when saving a dollar really matters. Clay and I are both Pure Talk customers. He's got his boys with Pure Talk phones. I've got a Pure Talk phone. It's so easy to switch. You keep your phone and your number if you want. From your cell phone, dial pound 250, say Clay and Buck. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. You can switch over to Pure Talk in just about 10 minutes. Dial pound 250, say Clay and Buck, switch to Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.